In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
When the 2024 WNBA season began, Lexie Hull seemed close to disappearing from the spotlight. She had been selected 6th overall in the 2022 draft, won championships at Stanford, and was once viewed as a key part of the future. But under former head coach Christy Sides, she spent more time watching from the bench than playing on the court. Other role players moved ahead of her in the rotation, leaving many fans wondering if Hull would ever reach the potential that made her such a highly regarded draft pick.
You have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit.
Everything changed when Caitlin Clark arrived. Her entrance into Indiana did more than reshape the lineup. It completely changed the direction of the franchise. Clark brought energy, excitement, and a new level of confidence to the team. She wasn't just putting up points. She made everyone around her better. The offense became more organized, team chemistry improved, and players started finding new opportunities. For Lexie Hull, Clark's arrival wasn't simply the addition of a new teammate. It became a turning point in her career. If you're supporting Lexie, drop a Lexie show in the comments below. Let's get started.
I think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams.
Hull recently spoke with She's for Sports and the Dunker Spot, where she openly discussed the changes happening behind the scenes. She explained how Clark's presence helped redirect her career and revealed what has fueled Indiana's rise from a struggling team into one of basketball's most interesting stories. This story goes beyond one player's comeback. It's about second chances, leadership, and a team culture that could shape the future of the Indiana Fever.
Clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick. I'm talking about professional basketball player Lexie.
The first part of 2024 was extremely difficult for Hull. Despite her success in college and her strong draft position, she couldn't secure a regular role in the lineup. Players like Katie Lou Samuelson and Christy Wallace were receiving more playing time while Hull often remained on the bench waiting for an opportunity.
Beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work so that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying.
The frustration was impossible to ignore. Going from a standout player at Stanford to someone rarely seeing the floor in Indiana created a mental challenge that was every bit as difficult as any obstacle on the court.
Basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player likely from their high school team. So it's just this mishmash of the best basketball players, and then you're playing against people that have been there for years and years.
At the same time, the Fever were struggling badly as a team. They opened the season with a disappointing 1-8 record, leaving fans in Indianapolis frustrated and searching for solutions. Unfortunately, those solutions were nowhere to be found.
Just sick that we had lost so many games and also feeling like we were better than them.
Criticism quickly followed. Questions surrounded the team's rotations, defensive problems, and lack of chemistry. The pressure inside the locker room kept growing, and Hull, watching from the sidelines, had to battle her own uncertainty while the team continued to face setbacks.
My role is just getting to the open spots, and we have such a good offense that people find the open person. So to be that open person, you get excited. You get excited for the opportunity to shoot and score and be part of the momentum.
Still, Hull refused to give up. She kept working on her game, improving her movement without the ball, refining her jump shot, and preparing herself for every chance that came her way. Throughout the struggle, her teammates continued encouraging her and reminding her of the talent they knew she had. Even when the numbers didn't show it, their confidence in her never faded, and that support became the motivation she needed.
What's it like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston?
I mean, they make my job really easy, right? It's awesome. And it's really cool to see all of them just grow, not only from this year, but playing 3 years with Kelsey, 2 years with Aaliyah.
Then Clark joined the team, and the atmosphere completely shifted. The second Caitlin walked into the locker room, everything felt different. Practices became more intense, fans packed the arenas, and Indiana was no longer a team people joked about. It quickly became one of the biggest attractions in the league. Clark brought a fierce competitive spirit and pushed everyone around her to raise their level as well.
I think it's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding, those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to get to play.
As Hull said with a smile, they often practice against male players, and whenever those players start gaining an advantage, Caitlin does everything she can to make sure the competition stays strong. That goes far beyond simple enthusiasm.
I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So now it's okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So,
11. Clark's impact wasn't limited to her popularity. She brought an elite understanding of the game. She could spot defensive weaknesses instantly and deliver passes into spaces teammates never expected. For Hull, it opened up a whole new world. She suddenly found herself getting easy looks and opportunities she rarely had before. Hull admitted that Clark was making passes she never thought could happen. With defenders constantly focused on Clark, teammates got more room to operate, and Indiana's offense became far more effective.
It's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much.
Her competitive mindset quickly spread throughout the team. Players who once questioned their potential started believing they could compete with anyone. Clark didn't only add points to the scoreboard, she added confidence to the entire roster. For Hull, that confidence meant a lot. Clark's leadership and maturity made an immediate impact, improving both team spirit and on-court performance.
At a bigger scale, obviously, with the platform that she's created for herself, and then that's transitioned to the game, it's huge. And I think for me, especially as a point guard and as someone that's delivering a lot of the passes that lead to shots, if I miss, she's definitely going to say, you got the next one. I can count on her for keeping me confident and positive. So yeah, I think that shows the player that she is and the leadership.
Before long, the improvement showed in the results. The Fever began finding consistency and developing into a connected and dangerous offensive group. Hull explained that basketball became much more enjoyable when every cut carried a real chance of leading to a play. Clark created those opportunities. She wasn't simply a star player. She was changing the direction of her teammates' careers, including Hull's. Still, whether that spark would be enough to completely change Indiana's season remained uncertain, and only time would provide the answer.
Really awesome to get to know her as well because, she's a great person, but you have all these expectations put on her and our team has put on her and fans have put on her. So to see her kind of be so mature in that transition, it's been really awesome. And I'm just really proud to, have her on the team. And
what made the transformation remarkable was that it started away from the spotlight. According to Hull, the biggest changes happened during practice. Those workouts became highly competitive contests rather than routine drills. Scrimmages felt intense because Clark demanded maximum effort. Whenever something went wrong, she pushed the team to correct it immediately. There was no room for excuses or taking shortcuts. Her determination raised expectations, forcing everyone else to improve. Coaches noticed the difference as well. Practices became sharper and more purposeful, helping the team build a real identity.
Indiana Fever had a history-making year. What was that like for you to be a part of that?
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to not only play in the WNBA, but to be on a team like the Indiana Fever. I've seen so much growth, not only on the team side, how we're performing on the court, but also the growth in fans. On the road, it felt like home games. We're playing in sold-out arenas that we have not played in the last 2 years before that. So,
for Hull, the change wasn't only about the team's success. It also became a personal journey.
All of it comes down to trusting the process. And part of that process is making sure that the work's getting.
Hull focused heavily on improving the small details of her game. She worked on her movement without the ball and aimed to become a more reliable shooter. During the Olympic break, the team spent nearly a month practicing together. Hull said that watching her shooting numbers improve gave her the confidence she had been searching for. The effort she put in behind the scenes eventually paid off. When the second half of the season began, Hull was no longer just another reserve player. She had earned an important role within Indiana's offense.
One thing that our coaches did during that break, we had a full month of practice pretty much during the Olympic break, and they would put up every day after practice our shooting percentages from 2s and 3s during drills, during scrimmages, during everything. And I think that helped me because, some people would probably like, it's so annoying, whatever, but I personally...
Away from the court, the Fever's growing popularity was just as noticeable. Players like Hull quickly experienced a very different lifestyle. Simple trips around Indianapolis often turned into unexpected autograph requests. People who once walked through the city unnoticed were now being recognized everywhere. It was exciting, but it also came with challenges.
Don't lie, unfortunately, and they're very drastic. My first 2 years, I was just so upset because I was putting in so much work, and my shooting percentages, I would granted get like 1 or 2 at the max, 3s a game. So it's hard to be super efficient when the pressure is really on for those couple shots. But the numbers don't lie. So it really allows you to look at improvements and really shoot for goals and keep yourself like.
Much of this change traced back to Caitlin Clark. Her ability to draw defenders created more opportunities for teammates like Hull. As Hull explained, Clark and Kelsey attracted so much attention that it opened space for others to move freely and find scoring chances. Those chances soon turned into points. Hull's shooting numbers improved, her confidence grew, and she started delivering in key moments. Indiana was no longer struggling. The team was gaining momentum.
People were supporting me this whole time, and I didn't know that they were supporting me until that moment. So you kind of forget that there's these people behind the scenes until they come out of the woodwork and say I've been following along this whole time. I'm so proud of you. And that just feels so good to know that there's such a community behind everybody on our team, even when you don't hear it every day.
As the Fever kept adding wins, their connection on the court became impossible to miss. Paul said the team never turned against one another, and that shared belief helped them overcome difficult stretches. Fans noticed the difference as well. Arenas that once had plenty of empty seats were now filled with energy, while social media overflowed with highlights, support, and excitement for the new-look Fever. Hull said playing before packed home crowds brought a level of energy the team had not experienced in years. The city of Indianapolis was excited once again.
Erica Wheeler started swapping outfits, so where did that idea come from?
Our styles are so drastically different. So we were just joking, I wonder what it would look like if you could pull it off. And the first outfit was something so outside of what I would have ever picked out of my closet. And they're that's not going to look good on me. I'm all right, let's try. So then I tried it on and everyone was you pull it off, you pull it off. So then it just became part of the pregame tradition. And it's a really fun, lighthearted way to just, get us.
This was more than just a turnaround. It sent a message. With Clark leading the way and Hull continuing to improve, the Fever were not simply fighting for a playoff spot. They were changing expectations for the entire franchise. The biggest question became how far this team could go, and whether they could maintain this strong chemistry as pressure continued to rise.
Shore in Indianapolis and trying to just go get some groceries and someone fist bumps me and says, "Go Fever." That's just a really cool environment, and it shows, the dedication of the fans and the fandom in the city. So
as Hull discovered, fame comes with both positives and negatives. Every game was analyzed online. Every defeat sparked criticism, and every victory created new expectations that the team had to handle.
It's pretty obvious. We have people filling the stands. We have people cheering. We have people so excited for the individual success of the teams, but also the league as well as players. So there's so many more eyes.
Social media brought both benefits and challenges. Paul admitted that constant reactions from fans could provide motivation, but they could also be difficult to deal with. Reading comments after losses showed just how intense the attention had become. She acknowledged that dealing with that level of visibility was part of the job, but it was far from easy. revealing the emotional side of being in the spotlight.
Like, it's easy to say, like, yeah, don't read it, but everybody does a little bit. And I think it's having like that support system to help keep.
Throughout the season, the Fever relied on one another. The locker room became more than a place for planning and preparation. It turned into a supportive environment where the focus remained on improvement, toughness, and teamwork instead of outside distractions. Built on trust and accountability, that culture gave the team the stability it needed during a demanding season. They were no longer simply handling the attention. They were learning how to embrace it.
It's finding people to kind of get you out of that cycle and get you to thinking about the positive things you did, even though a lot of times people online aren't talking about the positive.
The Indiana Fever's journey has been impressive. They transformed from a struggling franchise into one of basketball's most discussed teams, showing how determination and teamwork can completely change a story. Lexie Hull's revival reflected that lesson perfectly. Her patience, hard work, and readiness to seize opportunities all played a major role in Indiana's rise. Still, she openly credited Caitlin Clark as the driving force. Hull said Clark is more than a star player because she improves everyone around her. That impact helped elevate the entire franchise both on and off the court.
That people are talking about the WNBA, people are tuning in to our games. That's what we want to hear, and that's only going to get us farther as we go.
Indiana's growth was never just about collecting victories. It was about creating a strong identity. Packed arenas, passionate supporters, and a team mindset built on responsibility instead of excuses helped lay the foundation for lasting success. Hull summed it up best when she said, "We're not only playing for ourselves, we're playing for something much bigger." With Clark leading the way, Hull continuing to shine, and stars like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell prepared to make a major impact, the Fever are no longer simply contenders. They are becoming a serious force in the league.
It's moving in a good direction. I think that it's because it's more competitive and there's more eyes on it. The pool of coaches that we can choose from, I think, will only get bigger and bigger. I think we're going to have great coaches coming up, and just excited to see, what those eras look like. Like, it's unpredictable at this point, but excited to, talk about it.
What's clear is that this journey is far from over. The Fever have already proven they can overcome challenges and keep moving forward. Now the biggest question remains. Can they make the jump from strong contenders to becoming one of the WNBA's top teams? Time will tell. What do you think? Are the Fever ready to establish themselves among the league's best? Support Lexie by writing Lexie Show in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Click the video on your screen, and we'll see you in the next one.